Hey, are you ready to take control of your financial future? Welcome to Private Money Club. Private Money Club is the ultimate online platform connecting real estate entrepreneurs with private money lenders just like you. Whether you're looking to fund your next deal or lend money to grow your wealth, Private Money Club is your go-to resource. You can post deals, find funding, connect with other like-minded professionals. It's just a community. It's a community that you need to plug into. If you're new to the game, no problem. Our Learn platform and our weekly coaching webinars and our on-demand resources are here to guide you every step of the way. Join a thriving network of real estate experts who are already making an impact, and they're waiting to partner with you. So Private Money Club gives you the tools, the training, the connections, and everything you need to achieve your financial goals. So why don't you start now by going to privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see you inside. Hey, you need to become your own bank. And it's as simple as changing one thing, and that is where your money goes first. I mean, think about it. Household debts in this country are at all-time highs. You got tons of market volatility. You got the potential for Social Security running out of money. You've got global uncertainty, political divide, and you have to figure out where you're going to put your hard-earned savings. I mean, this is one of those times in history where the rich are getting richer, and it is time to learn the secrets of the wealthy. But here's the good news. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I put on a free webinar where I teach you how to take back control of your money by teaching you how to become your own bank. So click the link below and let's get started. So let's go into the app, because the app was created after a dating site, believe it or not. So people with money and people that need money. Phone, swipe left. Ooh, I like that one. Swipe right. You want to go on. If you got money, you want to swipe left through all the deals. When you find one you like, boom, you're connected. How much more difficult does this really need to be? This isn't rocket science. They want you to think it is because they want control of your money. It is time to take back control of our money. I want to invite you to a free interactive webinar that we're doing to teach you how to get prepared for what's about to happen and how you can grow, preserve, and protect your wealth and get it ready for a recession or maybe the next Great Depression. So all I need you to do is click the link below. You're not going to want to miss this with all this stuff going on. Are you sick of having your money lying around not doing anything? Well, we've got the solution for you. PrivateMoneyClub.com. Back to you, Chris. So that's what it is. Private Money Club was created for you and for all of us. So I've got something special. Since you're here, you're listening to us talk to you about the infinite banking concept, I wanted to make an offer. Private Money Club is something that will benefit each of you, but we've got what's called the Accelerator. The Private Money Club Accelerator is a coaching program that takes together the knowledge that you'll need to be your own bank and puts it together with the opportunities in Private Money Club so that now you learn and apply the knowledge. Check it out. We got a very special offer for you to be part of the next Accelerator coaching program and get you into Private Money Club so your money starts working for you.
Hey everybody, it's Buff Finance Guy here, ready to show you how to make some serious gains. But not only in the gym, with your wallet too. Most people put their money in the bank doing absolutely nothing for them. But I'm gonna show you how it doesn't have to be that way. So take Andrew here. His money has just been sitting lazy in the bank. But all he has to do is change one thing, and that's where the money goes first, and everything changes. Just change where your money goes first, silly.
Wait, just one change?
Yeah, that's it. Instead of sending it to the bank, you send it to your very own banking system. And your money can grow and get stronger, just like me.
It's time for Money School TV. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
The Money School TV strives to bring you the most relevant content of how money really works, past, present, and future. It's not a one-size-fits-all system. This platform provides you with ways to implement strategic decisions while avoiding fear-based decisions at all costs. Totally digital with new content added all the time on financial wealth creation strategies and how to regain control of your money. This 2-hour monthly group coaching with Chris Naugle is available now for only $19 per month. This is something you don't want to miss. Click the link below to get access now.
Whoa! I feel great. My money's not being lazy anymore, it's getting swole. Just like me.
Attaboy, Andrew. No more lazy cash. Now your money is growing, strong, and totally under your control.
Wow, thanks, Buff By in That Sky. Now I'm ready to grow my wealth and feel as good as I look.
So if you want to learn more on how you can compound your money and your muscles, I'm at BYOB.
You have to be a part of it.
Do whatever it takes to get here.
Get your ass up and come.
So here we are out in Las Vegas, Nevada, at Dream Racing for the experience. We brought the whole team, the whole clan out here to race exotic sports cars like this GT4 RS. This is what making memories is all about.
Together, we create experiences for each other, around each other, and memories we get to create.
This is my third experience and I love it. Being at the experience brings out the camaraderie, being around like-minded people. It just brings out the best in you.
I don't know why the rest of you aren't here. It's an amazing event. I have never missed one since they started 3 years ago.
The breathing exercises to the mental, the Brent Kessler to now the racing to just the overall mindset. Your network is your net worth.
We can sit in a room all day, listen to the speakers, or we can come out here, make some quick laps, learn how to drive, and make memories that last a lifetime. You should be here next time.
Well, the biggest thing I hope that people get is something that they can actually apply in their lives. You know, that's the biggest thing for any of these events that we want. We want people to leave here not just riled up, not just excited, but actually going out and doing something that'll put them in a better financial situation, help their family. And for the speakers, my goal is that they go out and they impact the audience and bring something the audience never had exposure to that allows them to then fill in that piece that they're looking for. I'm going to be talking about more lease options. I'm going to be talking about equity shares. I'm going to be talking about a bunch of fun stuff today. Because again, I'm not here to teach about how to do those deals. I'm here to teach about how to invest in those deals.
Filled with individuals that are like-minded, that are at the top of their craft, they're at the top of their game. And for anybody that's an attendee, it's just a mind-blowing experience.
It's almost going to be hard to speak anywhere else but here because it was such a great experience. I felt like, I don't know. It was amazing. Nothing less than amazing, literally.
At the PMC Money Tank event, which is an epic event that we're putting together that does one thing and one thing only, makes everybody money. It brings people with money together with people that need money. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You just smash them together and everybody wins.
Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Going live!
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to another week, another What the F Happened. Joined here with Mr. St. James. Mr. Snaggy's out in Colorado doing some snowboarding, and he's not going to be here today, but wow, what a week. You know, I talk to a lot of people every week, James. I know you do too, and fear is the only word I can put out there. People are scared right now. Like, change is never good. And all this stuff going on with Iran and geopolitical stuff, like in oil and all these things that we're going to talk about today, really has people just frozen right in their, like, it's like a deer frozen in headlights. They just don't want to move. They don't want to act. They don't want to do anything because of fear. Folks, I got to get this out, and I know this isn't part of the normal topic, but fear isn't real. You make it up. I got a 5-year-old daughter, and I'm teaching her about this now. You know, my daughter was scared to get up in the middle of the night and go potty because it was dark, and I had to get her to overcome her fear by, well, convincing her that if she goes in the dark and overcomes her fear, she gets a sticker. That worked well. So, folks, maybe that's what you all need, a sticker to overcome your fears. All you need to do is push a little further into the fear, and that is where the brilliant side of it is. That is where freedom is. That is where the creative side is. And if you allow fear of oil prices, fear of robot soldiers, which we're going to talk about, they're using robot soldiers. You didn't know in Ukraine. Okay, well, we'll cover that. Beef prices going up, food prices going up, talk of, you know, inflation going wild because of oil prices, and all this stuff, including the TSA on the verge of collapse, has people literally just, I'm not doing anything. I'm frozen. Folks, don't freeze. Don't allow fear to blind you. Don't allow fear to stop you. When everybody else is stopped in motionless in fear, that's when you push forward. That's when you take market share. That's when you push your life, your wealth, and everything you're doing forward. James, I know I went a little too far on that. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? Good morning, everybody in WTF world. Chris, you really said some very strong points. And one thing that I think you brought up that is very poignant is fear. You know, there's an old phrase, my good friend Will came up with it, I think. He says, you know, danger is real, but fear is in the mind. And yes, there are situations that are going to be very dangerous out there, but the fear is what you carry with you. And where basically danger looms, a lot of people, that's where people move forward because they're able to overcome their fear. You know, Christopher Columbus said, you know what, I'm actually going to go to this side of the planet. I'm going to find a trade route, and I'm going to prove to you guys that the earth is round by going the wrong way over to Asia, and he discovered the Caribbean islands. So he just created and found one of the most infamous trading routes in all of history because he was able to overcome the fear and he was able to motivate other people to back his journey. And I know that's quite a nuanced little statement right there, but keep that in mind because overcoming fear is something, it's a skill, it's a development, and it's something that helps grow you, helps you become stronger as well. We've got a lot of great topics going on for today because, I mean, there is a lot going on, and it's very easy for everyone to just turn off the news and say, you know what, I don't want to know what's going on because it's all going to be about Iran, Trump. And yes, while we are going to talk about some of those topics today.
As the Beatles are playing in the background here in my office, the song is Let It Be. So let's let it be and move on to WTF World. This first topic's a good one, James. You know, when we get into global headlines and we get into the world economics of what's happening out there, you know, one of the big things that just happened is the U.S. just said publicly, we are going to allow India to buy oil from Russia. Now, I came in really early this morning. I don't know. I went swimming and I just had a lot of energy. So I came in and I did a lot of research, and I've got my own take on this because I've looked at it. But the funny thing is when you look at news headlines like this, like first and foremost, James, oil, us giving India the ability or the right to buy Russian oil, is that good or bad?
It will. I can't even make a binary decision on that.
That's okay. You know what the real answer is, you know, I watch Bluey with my daughter a lot, and there's one episode where the teacher tells a story about a farmer, and it goes through this whole like real quick thing, and the farmer just keeps saying, we'll see. And that's the answer.
Okay.
We'll see. But let's dive into this a little bit. So just to keep everybody in the loop of what's going on, because hopefully most of you are not sitting in front of CNN, CNBC, Fox News, whatever your chosen station is, watching news headlines for play-by-plays of what's going on, because it'll drive you absolutely insane. My mother does this and it drives me nuts. My mom is just she calls herself a worrywart. You know, I got to fly out tomorrow morning. She's like, oh my God, is it safe to fly? Are you going to be okay? What if they hit the airport? I'm like,
wow.
I'm just like, oh my
That's
gosh.
a lot of fear. That's a lot of fear right there, Chris.
We'll see. I think right now is probably one of the safer times to fly, because you got you got elevated threats, you know, you got all sorts of security going on. So like when you're in an airport or you're on a plane, like right now is probably a safer period of time because the guard's up, the threat is known. And one of the things with this is, you know, like, listen, it's no secret right now, you know, we're in war with Iran. I don't fully understand it, but it's pretty easy to understand. It's about oil. Like, it isn't about anything else. Why is it that, you know, NATO and all of our other allies don't want to be any part of this? It's because it's just like, what are we doing? And a lot of people are saying, why are we there? Well, oil. It's the only legitimate answer. And here's one of the unique things that's going on right now. So the U.S. and India, if you remember in this show, we talked a lot about the trade deal that was struck with India. And I think that is single-handedly, if I look back in the last year and I say, what is the most significant thing that has happened under the new administration? It is the deal with India. India is going to be like the next world power. They might not take over where the U.S. is, but India has demographics like no other country, like no other nation. They have the ability to produce. They have cheap labor. They have all the makings of what will make India great, and not just great a little, like great a lot. They got a lot of stuff to figure out, but they're doing it and they're figuring it out. So when we basically said to them, because of everything going on in the Strait and all the trouble with oil, and oil, you know, at about $100 a barrel, it's a major shock to the world. It's literally like the kingpin to the world economic, you know, situation going on. I'm saying this wrong, but the fact that we gave India a 30-day, and it is just a 30-day pass to buy Russian oil. And I want to be clear about this. The only oil we authorized India to buy is the oil that's already out in the sea, stopped. That is the only oil. It's not like they can go to Russia, develop a relationship with Putin, and start buying, you know, motherland oil. Like, this is just oil stuck in the ocean. And the reason for that is it's a much bigger situation happening. India refines a lot of the United States oil. One of the problems with the U.S. is not our ability to produce oil or pull oil out. We got plenty of crude. What we don't have is refining capacity, because many administrations or politics or whatever you want to call it have just kind of moved the refinery offshore and off the U.S. It's not a clean thing. And whatever the reason is, we can't refine the amount of oil, the amount of crude into refined products that we need to operate. You know, we just can't do it. India does a lot of this. So when we sell crude or ship crude to India, India refines it, we buy it back at a markup. So that's really why this is happening, because to try to keep oil prices down, which is not right now appearing like it's working, but who knows? I mean, if they weren't doing all this stuff, where would oil price be? I don't know. But the thing that you got to look at is this is not us giving them the ability to go and start building relationships with Russia to buy. That would be absolutely foolish. It's a 30-day pass to try to stabilize oil prices for the worldwide economy and to just keep things moving, really. James, I know you probably have a different take on this, but that's the 30,000-foot view that I got this morning from researching. And I'd love to hear some comments from the audience as well.
You know, I really feel that it's both sides of the aisle believe that this current war is about oil. I mean, yeah. Oh, Iran has a nuclear threat. Well, you know, Bibi Netanyahu has been saying that for years now.
Is that Netanyahu even alive?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, some people say he is. Some people say they won't. He isn't. They said that Reuters confirmed that his videos are real, but we are going to talk about that. But in terms of oil, let's look versus the United States. The United States has a delta of about 10, if I'm not mistaken, we import about 6.5 million barrels of oil per day, but we well, let's see here, but was a net crude importer by 2.4 million barrels per day. So we export a lot, but we are at a delta of 2.4, meaning every day we import more than 2.4 million barrels of oil per day.
Refined
Oil, though. That's the thing. So we send out the rough
finished
stuff
product,
and
like
we get the refined
gasoline and kerosene and all the things that we need.
Exactly. And one of our prime partners with this is Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia right now is getting a lot of business. Well, they're the ones who are able to ship out a lot of this oil now to China, to Japan, to a lot of these other super needed countries right now. And obviously this is creating a huge ripple effect. But getting back to our point here. So we were talking.
I don't want to move too far off of that point you just made, because like it's in the news and you see it every day that Saudi Arabia is getting hit by drones. It seems almost like on a bi-weekly basis or bi-daily basis. It's like, why attack Saudi Arabia? Like those guys don't seem to bother anybody, but like Iran seems to be picking a fight with them.
I think they're just hitting, like, if you're going to hit us, we're going to hit everybody around us.
Because I suppose, we're going to hit your allies. We're going to hit the people that work with you.
Riyadh.
I wouldn't want to mess with Saudi Arabia. That's just me.
Yeah, and the UAE, they have developed for over the past 20 years. They've been developing their entire country is to be almost this utopia where there's super low crime. Everybody's a millionaire and basically everything's amazing. And yes, there's a lot of skeletons in their closet, of course, from the mass surveillance, the extreme limited ability to speak freely. And let's not even get behind some of the human rights issues that they've been accused of. But in terms of the attacks that Iran is doing, I think they're saying, like, look, we have the capacity to hit all these people from all over the place. Whereas the United States, well, we're kind of insular in our vulnerability, meaning Iran, it's super hard for them to attack us because of the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, because of our Navy, let's not leave that out.
Right, but in terms of how isolated we are on the planet, it limits our vulnerability. Whereas with Europe, whereas even parts of Africa, and of course even Asia, well, guess what? They have the missile capability. They have the bombing capability to attack all those particular reasons, which is why they say that the United States has a higher proclivity, a higher aptitude to actually starting some of these armed conflicts, because they know, hey, look, not only do we have the strongest Navy, not only do we have the strongest Air Force, not only do we basically have the combined might of the next three militaries financially combined within ours, but it's hard to get to us to begin with. And Canada's not looking to invade us, and Mexico's not looking to invade us. So just in terms of a boots on the ground particular type of situation, it's very hard to reach us. So that level of thought is kind of why some people say, that's why America is so quick to start these conflicts. And it's allowed us to move forward in starting some of these fiscally based conflicts as well.
Well, Craig Parsons coming in from YouTube said, so are you saying Trump would rather start a war than build a refinery? And I don't think that's really what we're trying to say. I don't really know why we're over in Iran. I haven't been able to unpack that. But here's the other thing, too. I haven't really researched it. Haven't put really much time into it at all. Kind of just going about this as it is what it is. What I think a lot of people need to stop worrying about is why governments do things they do, regardless of who's in office, and start focusing on what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
What is the competitive advantage you can take because of, these situations, or because of somebody else taking the wrong side on it, or looking at something the wrong way, or digging too deep into it. I mean, like here's the way I look at it. I look at this as a giant distraction. Eyeballs are all on this. So while everybody's eyeballs are on this, businesses are suffering a little bit. Business is down. You can look at the reports. I mean, pretty much every industry is down right now, even tech. So when you look at it, it's like, this is a great time to go out there and to take market share. This is a great time to go out there and to solve clients' problems and do a better job of doing, because so many people are distracted. And I think that's where things like, is it us starting a war versus building a refinery? We're going to build refineries. I mean, Trump's clearly made the point that we're going to build refineries, but it takes time. I mean, you can't just be like, it's not like, what is that game you were talking about where like literally you just, You just push a button and a building appears on the screen.
Oh, like Sim City or something like
City,
that.
yeah. This isn't
Yes.
Sim City. Like, there's all sorts of permittings and, contracts and all sorts of things to build a refinery. It's not exactly something that happens quick, but inside of a 4-year time frame, I think you'll see a lot of development on that. I think we're just at the early stage of it. And there was another comment somebody had mentioned. Do you think Treasury bills, or I'll just say Treasury-backed stablecoins, can be used to offset budget deficits, similar to what was done with gold? Yes, absolutely. So P. Saris, I believe it is, was making that comment. I'll throw it up there. So I've done YouTube videos on this, and I have quite a bit to say about this. I think what they're doing with the Genius Act and the Clarity Act and bringing, dollar for dollar backed stablecoins, true depository stablecoins that can be deposited in banks, that day is coming sooner than any of us probably want to believe. One of the things you can do with that is you certainly can use that to offset budget deficits, because you can change the pegs, and there's been all sorts of stuff on this. I mean, how the government literally could use crypto or stable coins in that to kind of diminish the deficit. And I think they probably will. I think they maybe have to. Ray Dalio mentions this loosely in a lot of his talks, if you follow Ray Dalio, on how like that could be a play that they do. But there's a lot of talk about that. I don't know as if we're going to know that happens, because obviously that would kind of be the deep dark stuff, like where'd all the gold go from Fort Knox, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly think that's a play. And you know what? If I was the president, I'd probably be looking at that very seriously.
Hey, there's a comment here that I saw. Craig, thanks for commenting. I'm not stressing on the war. I just do not understand it. And honestly, it has no effect on me as of yet. You know what? Living in that particular thought bubble, you know what? I'm actually in admiration for you, because having that level of peace and just saying, you know what? I still want to tune in and kind of get the surface level topics, but I don't want to be completely consumed about it. Good for you. But I do want to mention that it does affect you, maybe just not in methods that you're quite aware of, because there is a trickle down effect when oil prices rise. Every single industry is tied to oil. We've stated this a number of particular times. We're seeing farmers basically being hit because of these higher oil prices. They have to raise the price of their crops. The higher price of the crops, the higher the price at the grocery store. Maybe you have a farm and you know what? You don't have to worry about it. And maybe because you don't have to transport your stuff as far, you're able to offer lower prices. You know what? Good on you. But
yeah,
it
exactly.
also,
I love his comment. I'm
Yeah,
not guessing on the war, just don't understand it. I don't think any of us do.
yeah,
I
well,
don't
the
think any
thing
of
is,
us really understand it.
Chris, we also have to understand that jet fuel goes up, so transportation costs go up. So again,
Yeah, has anyone bought an airline ticket lately? Man,
Yeah.
that's just crazy right now.
yeah, they're going up. So for the majority of Americans, this is going to affect them. And we love causation. We do want to know why. And as we become older and wiser and seeing, hey, there is a domino effect, we need to understand it. And some of us are going to be able to take advantage of this, like you said there, Chris. Some of us are going to be able to hedge bets against the industry. Maybe it's just going to be something as going on call sheet and saying, hey, gas prices will be over $3 a gallon in terms of a national average. And that's one way. It's not a way that I'm supporting, mind you, and this is not financial advice, but it is one way that some people are going to be able to take advantage of the market. And I'm sure, as you mentioned, Chris, there's going to be some high functioning and maybe much safer ways to take advantage of the increase in these particular rates and prices. While there is a bit of peace to say, you know what, I'm not worried about the war. It also pays to be a little bit educated, and I think that's why you guys are tuned in today. Just
I think that's why people come here. They want to get the real perspective. Not that our perspective is always the right perspective. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of a rant, but we try to get as close as we can. And it's not some narrative being pushed by one side or the other, or by some station because they've got to uphold it. Oh, we're the Republican station. Oh, we're the Democrat station. Oh, we're the middle of the road station. We're just assholes here. I don't know what else to call it. We just do what we do. So I want to hit a couple quick things. I love what Lynn Green said. She said, which is why Trump had to take out Iran's ability not to get over here. And they were within 2 weeks. That was back when we hit them with the bunker busters so that they couldn't build the nukes. Yeah. And I don't think you'd find many people that were not in support of that action, because that is a pretty big threat. You can't have Iran, crazy Iran going out and building nukes, then can, hit, the United States soil. So I think that was a good one, a little different than where we're at here. I love Morgan Sharp's Iran hitting Saudi Arabia just shows that their technology is really bad because they're just missing.
Well, they're hitting some of these
Man, that
big
would be
buildings
pretty
out
cool if
there in
that's what it was.
Dubai. And here's something that's interesting. The Dubai, the Emirates government has banned people from posting on social media any type of transaction,
Yeah, I
any
saw
type
that.
of hits that are happening over there. So, you post, they're coming after you right away. And that's like the mass
Think of how
surveillance.
big tourism is there. I mean, that makes
It's
perfect
huge.
sense. I mean, from a I guess the leader standpoint, like that's everything to them. Tourism, like I mean, oil is, but I mean, the tourism is what makes Dubai move around and Saudi Arabia move around. And if you got bombs going off and drones hitting places, like people are scared. I mean, in the news the other day, CNBC, they had an Emirates airline flying over the smoldering mess of the gas field that got hit. It's just like that. Does that make you want to travel there? I'm sorry, I don't really feel like flying there for that. The airport got hit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, of course they're trying to suppress that and show. I think you'd see the same thing here in the U.S. I really do.
But I feel that this almost a Streisand effect. When you say don't look at something, what do
everybody looks at it,
like,
right?
Don't look up.
That is the truth.
So why does that
Yeah.
make sense? Just fess up to it. Hey, you know what? We're under it. We're going to get in front of it. We have the defenses. We have the backing of the United States. We have the backing of all these militaries. And we are still this utopian society that we've marketed to the rest of the world. Like, don't lie, because when you lie, it makes you just look a lot worse.
Well, I want to move to the next topic, which is the Fed.
Okay.
Jerome Powell, they're going today, right around noonish, they're going to come on, and it's a simple thing. I mean, they're not going to raise rates. They're going to pause rates. It's a 99% chance that the Fed just holds rates steady. And that's probably the right move. But I love Harrison George, from CMG over here, is kind of making note that, now is a really good time to understand that there's some sort of a distraction, but don't get distracted from that equity in your house and getting access and control of that equity, because this isn't a commercial for Harrison George, but I'm being serious about this, like not just because he made a comment. If you've got equity in your house, which all of us do, if you own a house, you need to get access to that. Please don't just leave the equity or the money sit in the walls of your house so you can brag to your neighbors on how you got so much equity in your house. It's not changing your damn lifestyle. It's not paying off your debt. It's not getting you in a better situation, allowing you to enjoy more time with your family, buy back time. It is doing nothing. And bragging does nothing either but make you look stupid. I got to call this one person out. I'm not going to say he, she, or anything, but there's this character here in Buffalo, and this person is all over social media, and every time she's just trying to be the popular person, and like she's at all the biggest events and all the fancy places, and I'm just like, that is the wrong kind of attention, and the reason I was saying that is when you think about the equity in your house, like, don't brag about it, put it to work. Like,
absolutely.
You all know the influencers, of people on social media that they just want to see, they want to post photos of themselves so everybody's watching, they're looking at a picture of themselves. They get all fancied up. Man, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But stop spending time trying to be popular. Start spending time trying to change your life and move forward. And that means get the access to your equity before you can. Listen, like, we don't know what's going to happen here. I can tell you right now, I got a chart over here that's been around since, gosh, the 1800s it's never been wrong. And it says that the end of this year is when the economy and in potential recession talks are going to start to happen. Like, listen, you don't need to believe me. I don't know if I believe myself, because I've been saying it for so long that I've been wrong up to this point. But you know what? Someday I'm probably going to get it right. And it's not, but you can't time the market, but you can see things are happening. You can see things are slowing down. I got unemployment numbers here. If we go into unemployment from 2020, we were at 8.1. 2023, when the world opened back up, we were 3.6 to 3.8. Last year, we were at 4 to 4.6. This year, we're 4.7 and climbing. Where do you think it goes from here? It's going to keep climbing. And unemployment is one of the number one triggers to show you what's going on in the economy. So follow that. Follow logistics. Talk to Dexter and the folks that drive, goods around the country. Like, are they slowing down? Are they seeing, holdups in logistics because of all this? Those are telltale signs that something's going to happen. So when something happens is not the time to then be like, oh, hey, honey, we should probably get the equity out of our house. It looks like the house value is dropping. Is that the time you want to get the equity out? No, you want to get the equity out when there's the most amount there. And listen, I know a lot of people are like, oh, rates are going to come down. I'm going to wait. Refinance the damn rates. Get a variable rate. Like, you don't need to worry about rates right now. They're actually not bad. Sorry, I went on a rant there.
Yeah, no, but that's a huge point. I was actually speaking to somebody. She was a nurse. Her fiance was in marketing. And I sat down with them for 30 minutes just talking to them about products such as an all-in-one mortgage. And they said, why were we never educated about this? Why am I just learning about this now? Chris, she was 26 years old. And at a certain part of our lives, we have to understand that our financial education, it's basically has to be taught to ourselves. I said, here's why you haven't learned about it. Because let's just go back to when you were 21. When you were 21, you had two options. One is to learn about art, nails, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I only use that example because I saw her Instagram feed. And I said the other particular column, you had life insurance, home equity rates, and how to be debt-free by the time that you're 50. Which one are you going to pay more attention to? She says, the nails. I said, that's just the point. It may not be sexy, but when you're debt-free, when you have an accumulation of wealth, it's going to sure be satisfying. And that's something that we want to make sure that we push into the social ethos so that more people understand it. Because why not be able to pay off your house within 7 years? Why not be completely debt-free and be able to retire at 45 or 50 as opposed to this government-instituted ideal of 65, which a lot of Americans are unfortunately not going to be able to achieve. Start with the ending. And that way you have a solid goalpost to always aim for when it comes to scoring your financial goals.
Yeah. So on that, I mean, that all just tied into the Fed. You know, the Fed's going to keep rates where they're at. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you've been holding out, waiting to do something, waiting to take action on something because you thought the Fed was going to drop rates, sorry, here we are. We'll probably start seeing some rate decreases, or at least what they're saying, you know, toward the third, fourth quarter. But don't put your life on hold. Don't wait to do things because you're worried about rates. And one of the things I talked to, you know, the giant mutually owned insurance companies and the CEOs over at those companies. It's quite an honor. These are really smart people that have really good teams and insight into what's coming. And one of the things we were talking about the other day is, you know, do you go fixed rate or do you go variable rate? And he said, listen, like everyone here is betting on variable rates right now because rates are going to be lower in the future than higher. So like that's the bet that these giant insurance companies are taking. And I can tell you, they got lots of resources, really smart and really, really intelligent people that know where we're going. So if they're betting on variable rates and rates being lower in the future than they are today, well, you should probably kind of that's what you should follow. Now, one of the things I wanted to hit on here, and I think this is a really interesting post, and James, I don't know what your take on this one's going to be, but Jay Hines coming in from YouTube said, I think we're over there because Trump kept his word to the Iranian people that were being slaughtered, that he was sending help. I think he's going to keep his word again and keep the war short. So that is an interesting thing, because I think if anyone was even remotely paying attention, he did say that the slaughters are going to stop, that we're going to do something about this. And
oh, Lord.
I don't know as if that's the reason we're over there, but it definitely plays into that statement that he made. Now, I know you're not going to, because you don't like Trump. So you're going to think that Trump doesn't do anything, that is good for humanity. But what is your take on that?
First and foremost,
this is your first opportunity to piss everybody off, James. So you might as well
thank you for commenting about that. I do want to see the Iranian people, and I'm sure everybody globally wants the Iranian people to be liberated. But to say that Trump has kept his word, well, then let's go down the fact check. He said Biden will start a war because Biden can't negotiate. He will start a war. Well, what did Trump do? He started a war. Okay, his campaign was, I will start no new wars, and that's exactly what this sumbitch did. So when we're talking about keeping a promise, keeping his promise to himself and the people who he has campaigned for him, who's backed him. That's who he's keeping his promise to. Fiscally, you guys wanted a businessman in office. Excuse me. The people of America, large,
the people wanted a businessman.
Wanted him in office because he was outside of the government institution.
We all appreciate that, James. Thank you. You're right.
The lobbyists won. The people who said, "Here's 20 million. Here's 200 million." Tell me one of those people, those groups that he's pissed off. Maybe except for Elon.
Kamala, how much
money?
No,
I'm talking about his contributors. I'm talking about his backers who've already on the record.
Kamala didn't have any backers either, right?
No, Kamala definitely had backers, but we also understand this. And I mean, when we're saying like, I'm going to help out the Iranian people, you say you're going to help them out, but it's in direct hypocritical statement to what you've just done, action to what you've just done. And that's why I can't say that. And Islam started the war many years ago as the #1 terrorist. No, that's not correct. Because if that's the case, we wouldn't be doing business with Saudi Arabia. We wouldn't be doing business with the UAE. It is not a religious war. Don't fall for that. Does Iran sponsor a lot of particular terrorist organizations. That has been shown to be statistically true. Nobody's debating that. Do not correlate a religion with a subsect of religion that even has infighting within itself. And thank you for talking about that, Morgan, because that is a very big point. But no, if that's the case, the United States has started a lot of wars because we're the ones who said, Iran, you know what, you cannot nationalize their oil. Remember, they didn't say, you know what, death to America out of the blue. It had to come from a reason, and a lot of people are not looking past that. So I encourage you guys to look at past that, because we can't do an entire history lesson right now. But yeah, Trump lied his ass off. He's been lying, and he's caught in a number of lies. He said the war's already done. Then he says, well, the war's already done, but we're just beginning. Excuse me? So we got a lot to talk about here. But yeah.
I'm just letting you do your thing here, because I'm ready to move on to the global energy butterfly effect, which to me is a way better topic than this bullshit.
Exactly. So let's go.
I had to let you do it. I mean, listen, like there was no better opportunity for you to piss everybody off than right there.
Hey, a lot of people agree with me, and I'm fine with that as well. But yeah, what do we got about this ripple effect?
Listen, we can't just have one-sided views on this show. You know, when you came on, people were like, "Why do you have James on?" And other people were like, "I like that dynamic. It allows you guys to argue and talk more." And you know what? I'm like, I think a lot of people come to this show because you never know what you're going to get. You know, like one day you're going to start hearing me swearing and pissing people off and telling somebody to F off, who I don't even think that girl even worked for us or was an agent with us. We did some research after that, and I don't even know who the hell she was, but she isn't here anymore, which is the good news. Anyway, let's move on to the butterfly effect. You know, you remember that movie? Who was it? Ashton Kutcher,
the Butterfly
Ashton
Effect.
Kutcher. Yeah, that was such a good movie, The Butterfly Effect. And we are literally seeing, and I thought, James, when you sent me this article, I thought you were kind of just making stuff up, and I Googled it, and I went into Gemini, the AI side, and this is a very real thing. The global energy butterfly effect. Let me just read this, and then we can kind of unpack this for a few minutes, and then we'll talk about Netanyahu. But one conflict in the Middle East, we'll call this the Iran war, and the whole world starts breaking down. Cuba's got no power right now. Sri Lanka's canceling Wednesdays. Vietnam just sent everybody home. And, we've got a major ripple effect. And this ripple effect is just getting started with the strait under threat, if you will. I know some ships are still moving through there, but some are getting attacked. It's still wonky. And, man, it's crazy. How long has this Iran war been going on now?
I think we're on day 14 or
2 weeks. That's what I thought.
2 to 3 weeks approximately. Yeah.
Yes, 2, maybe 3 weeks. And look, the whole world is literally like starting to break down, like because of this. Like, so when people say, "Oh, we don't need oil," blah blah blah, oil, the whatever. I'm not even going to go into the Green New Deal or the Inflation Reduction Act, which did not reduce any inflation, but nonetheless, oil is a pretty important thing, and we're seeing that right now. So regardless of what your viewpoint is on this, like we can see here, because of this butterfly effect, that if something challenges or slows or disrupts the traditional global energy flow, or oil flow in this case, shit starts to fall apart. James, I know you kind of sent this article, so give me a little bit of an unpacking on this.
As soon as I heard this article about what's going on in Sri Lanka, I've got friends internationally, and what's happening in Sri Lanka, I want to make sure that I get this right, is they're canceling Wednesday. So people who normally commute, people who are buying gas at the pump, they're like, look, we have a limited supply of gas. We actually imported a lot of our gas from Iran, and now they are starting to see the reserves running low. And for those who don't know, Sri Lanka is off the coast of India. It is its own separate country, but you're talking about the entire southern Asian peninsula who is struggling with oil right now, all the way from Bangladesh, India to Sri Lanka. And they're canceling. And now we go over to the Philippines. We go over to Southeast Asia. We go into countries like Taiwan and the Philippines. We're like, look, wear short sleeves so we don't have to run as much air conditioning. There is a butterfly effect. There is a ripple effect. And the term comes from, if a butterfly flaps its wings in Japan, it creates a hurricane in the United States. So we need to be cognizant of those things. We need to be aware, because what if there's a shrinkage? What if there was a reduction in how many goods are produced that we buy from a lot of these countries? Well, we'll just make our own products. It's going to take time to get that ramped up. In the meantime, it's going to be reflected in the price and cost of goods that we have here. Your call centers, though a lot of those call centers are in the Philippines, it's going to then urge people to say, hey, look, you don't have to ever worry about call centers again because we have this amazing AI that will answer all your questions for you. And it has 100% uptime. You'll never miss a phone call again. Well, guess what? I'd still rather speak to somebody overseas than an AI. I don't know about you, Chris. And that is just one of those ripple effects that I'm talking about. And just really quickly, thank you so much, Jay Hines. Good to, you're my favorite type of ketchup. I hear you, James, but when the Iranian people are liberated, that's going to have amazing rippling effects around the world. Oil is secondary. You know what? I would agree with you to the point that, I mean, we already see Khomeini's, excuse me, one more time. Khomeini's son is now effectively in power, and his military is still looking to do the same thing. We've already seen in Afghanistan and Iraq and Kuwait that we have negligible effects in the Middle East, even when it comes to long-term occupation in Afghanistan, short-term occupation in Kuwait. The last time that the United States won a military operation that had some type of true effect was Kuwait, when they pushed Saddam Hussein out of the Kuwaiti oil fields when he came in from Iraq.
God, I was just a boy when that happened.
Exactly. So to say that we have a high win rate over there, if history is an indicator of the future, we have already started a losing battle. Not to say, hey, we're going to lose. Not going to go that far. But we do not have the support.
Here's a legitimate question, James.
Yes.
What is winning or losing?
It's right? When you've affected.
How do we define winning or losing in this one? I mean, is winning where we kill the leaders over there? We're doing a pretty good job of that. Is winning where we control the flow of oil?
Yeah.
I mean, like how do we define a win versus a loss in this conflict? Like that's a legitimate question, is it not?
Yeah. And Trump has basically stated that the win, he's already gone in there without an actual formal plan in place. That's already been documented. We're saying, what the hell are we doing? And they said, well, when we get Iran's full and unconditional surrender. Well, that's the same word track that they had in Vietnam. Tell me, did that happen? It didn't.
Yeah.
Again, it was a world away. We lost a lot of fucking lives. And a lot of people have
that was the most unpopular war in history, I think, or at least in U.S. history.
Exactly. And what we were trying to do, a regime change. We were trying to push the commies out of Vietnam, and it didn't happen. Now, so tell me, when we have a country that has more natural resources, a stronger military, and also a half a world away, I'm supposed to believe that the same thing's going to happen. I'm using history as an indicator for the future. I could see if we had the entire world behind us and all this stuff, but as it stands right now, I don't see that happening. I see us wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. And it's, if we went in there, and I'm just going to close on this point. Okay, Chris, you and I, we have a fight, right?
Every week.
And I come to you, I attack you, and unfortunately, you've been neutralized. I'm just going to say neutralized. I never want to say you die, Chris. All right, your family's still not going to like me. And they're going to come after me generation after generation after generation. But if I come to you, Chris, and say, hey, look, bro.
Or maybe they don't. Maybe they forgive you.
Well,
I know that's a really hard thing to imagine, but you realize that is the way.
That is the way, but has that way been going on? Has it happened? I mean, Japan eventually forgave us.
Posing a secondary option here.
Yeah. Japan did forgive us. Some Japanese
still did forgive us. And that is it. I'm glad you brought that up. That is a really, really good analogy to use for this.
Yeah. I don't like those odds. Okay. I don't like it. All right. Thank you, Jay, for making that comment. Please, I encourage you to keep commenting, all of you guys, please.
Yeah, the comments are great. They really are. One of the final things that I wanted to just kind of point on here is, this just useless facts, but important facts for what's happening right now. The Strait of Hormuz, do you realize that 20% of the world's oil flows through that strait? That's the severity of that strait. 20%. Now, you can look at that however it is, but that's the world's oil, not the U.S. oil, the world's oil. So that butterfly effect we talked about, it's real. It's very real. And I know, Pete and a lot of other people have come on and they're talking about like, what is the plan for the strait? And there's really no formalized plan. I mean, there are ships going through it, but slow. So it'll be interesting. And here's another fact. If they can't do something to control the world oil, if they can't get this opened up and resolved in a relatively short time, which I'm glad that a lot of people, including Morgan, think that this will be over quick, because that would be the best outcome. But if they can't, oil 100% will drive this is just the US, but this will be worldwide, so I'm just going to use US numbers. Oil prices will drive our GDP under 2%, which will not be good. Yikes. And just so you all remember that the definition of a recession is 2 consecutive negative GDP growth, or quarters, 2 consecutive negative GDP. How am I trying to say this?
Yeah, you're
quarters.
Right. Yeah, two different quarters back to back.
2 different quarters back to back at a negative GDP. I guess that's another way to say it. I was trying to spit that out. It just wasn't happening. So we're not there, but as we drop with GDP, as unemployment numbers climb, which they absolutely are, I'm just pointing out the obvious.
This is a big convergence.
Get your house in order.
Huge convergence in order going on, and you nailed the nail right on the head there, because some people, like, they don't see that coming. It's very scary, and we've got some topics that back it up. Don't worry, guys; it won't be all doom and gloom this episode.
To U.S. headlines.
Let's keep moving
on to U.S. headlines, because we spent a lot of time on the world, but that was we kind of reduced down some of the topics because we knew that this is what eyeballs are on this week, and not this week, but this month is what's going on over in Iran. And one of the other things that's been interesting to watch is this is literally there's 2 things I always like to ask is why does it seem like everybody in power, and I'm not just talking Trump, everybody in power is bowing to Israel? Like, I don't fully understand this Israel thing. And I've been listening to lots of different stuff. It's all public out there. There's a lot of interesting, we'll call them conspiracy theory thoughts about Israel. And I just can't make 2 cents of it. I really can't. I'm not going to try to either, but it just seems like, it just almost seems like we were pulled into this because of Israel, but that just might be the media kind of swaying my mind to think that way. I don't know, but there's something that just doesn't seem right about that. That's number one. And the other interesting thing is just the way that our other allies, we'll call it NATO or any other, the other countries of the world have, for the most part, just kind of ignored this, just kind of turned a blind eye to this. And maybe that's a good thing, because we don't need to enter the next world war. But there's no basis to this and no truth to this. But last night, while I was eating my dinner, I did see something pop up, and it's probably fake news, but about China surrounding Taiwan. Is there any significance to that? I didn't Google that. I should have this morning. Does anyone know? Is there something going on with China and Taiwan? Because that would not be good.
I'm sure that's still going on there too, Chris. But I think they're more concerned about their oil. They can't be involved in any type of big conflict to take over Taiwan while there's a huge oil crisis going on. They're way too smart for that.
Yeah, that looks to be fake news.
They're going to be. I think if President Xi is as smart as people give him credit for, he's just sitting back and waiting for all this stuff.
I actually think he's a very intelligent man. Oh yeah. I'm not saying I like the man, but I think the way he has handled things, in many situations, he's a pretty freaking smart guy, pretty patient guy.
Yeah, and I mean, this administration even asked him, like, "Hey, look, you guys should probably come and get your oil out here in Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. You guys should." And he said, "We'll get back to you. We will get back to you." I think that's the most diplomatic answer ever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's flip this thing over to the good old United States of America, and we'll get away from all this world talk. So we'll be right back.
My fellow Americans.
So you know the thing.
Chris, where's the beef?
Yeah, where's the beef? Where's the beef? This is an interesting one. I don't eat meat, so I would never see this. But James, you're a meat-eating fool. So, I guess this is kind of interesting, because this is the very first time this has happened since the 1980s. But right now, JBS beef plant strike is happening in Colorado, and there are nearly 4,000 people walking out from the job for one of the biggest beef plants in the world. Listen, James, before you say anything, this is a massive win for me. Huge win. Cows are going to live a little longer. Like, awesome.
Oh, okay.
All right, maybe I'm wrong, but can I just bask in that for a little bit? Like
Go for it.
4,000 humans, 4,000 people walk out on strike. That means there's 4,000 less people to kill those poor cows.
And that's
And I know all you meat
people
eaters are like, man, what am I going to do about my meat? It's going to go up in price, man. Don't eat meat.
buy more shares of Chick-fil-A. That's what you're going to do. You're going to get more chicken. You're going to get more fish. You're going to get more filet of fish. Do whatever it can. Don't let the vegetarians win. Don't let them
I'm
win.
not a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian.
Pescatarian. Okay. More fish for you. But no, sincerely speaking, there's about 4,000 workers just walked off the job over at one of the biggest meat processing plants in the world. It's out there in Colorado. And if this particular strike stays in place, I mean, we're going to see higher prices at the supermarket. They're complaining about things. Let's talk about this. You work in a hazardous environment. There's blood, there's guts, you're slaughtering animals, and your employer charges you up to $1,100 for PPE. I mean, true PPE, the goggles, the mask, maybe the hazmat suit or the clean suit that you have to wear in there. How does that make sense? Meanwhile, this company's profits have increased 5, 10, 20% year over year. Doesn't it make sense if you have a work base that probably would like to find other work elsewhere? I can't see having a career aspiration of working in a slaughterhouse to say, yeah, you know what, you guys will be fine. Why not just keep the workers that you have? We already know that there is a shortage of labor in certain areas in the Southwest for immigration reasons. Okay. But then on top of that, you're going to double down and make things worse for them. We've talked about this K-shaped economy. We talked about people who don't make enough are just finally standing up and saying, look, I'm tired of this. I don't want to be taken advantage by the corporations. And it's going to reflect everywhere. Now, we just saw in correlation to this that the nurses' strike in New York City just went through with higher rates for these nurses. So now we're seeing it at the next tier of the working class, which is now these meat processors. Can it spread somewhere else? And how long are they going to have to wait in order for this to actually be resolved? I hope it's quick because I really want my Baconator soon.
All right, man. Well, being that I got to fly tomorrow, this next topic is kind of alarming. And, I've been watching this pretty closely just because I travel quite a bit. Not that I like to, but, the TSA, we all know what TSA, right? When you go to the airport. Well, do you realize since that February standoff where there was the shutdown, do you realize there's still 50,000 TSA agents working without pay? This is kind of alarming when we're on heightened, security levels, and TSA agents are not being paid, and they're quitting. They're getting other jobs. They're not showing up. Supposedly there's security lines that are like hundreds of people
outside the door. Austin, Texas, the line is outside the door. Orlando International, outside the door.
Going to Dallas, Fort Worth. Is that going to be an issue?
I hope not. I mean, that's one of the busiest airports. That's the central hub for American Airlines right there. And I hope that you have no problems at the airport there, Chris.
Oh.
The thing is, though, you're coming from Buffalo. Our lines are relatively small here. You can arrive an hour and a half early. It's not an international flight. You should have no problems. But getting back, and when you're going back to Buffalo, going through DFW, you may see some issues. So what is the cause of this? Well, as you guys know, the Department of Homeland Security has a huge funding bill that is, a lot of it is being allocated to ICE, which is basically got a budget larger than some militaries. And as a result, Congress is saying, you know what, we're going to have this partial government shutdown, and we are going to say, look, we're not going to pass a funding bill until you make some changes with ICE, you reduce some of the spending that you have going on to ICE, and the opposition party is saying, no, we're not going to do that. And the Democrats are saying, look, how about this? We're just going to do a standalone bill to make sure that TSA has funding so that there's not memos going out to the people saying, please bring donations to TSA. Here, just bring donations. You understand that that's not legal to do because it looks like a bribe. All right, hey, here's $20, man. I know you're not getting paid. I'm just going to bring this all these potatoes and all this raw fruit through the scanner. You don't see nothing. Okay, we're opening up a window for something here. I hope that it gets resolved, but this is the second time that TSA has been used as a pawn in this political war that we have between these two oppositional parties. And people are saying, look, I'm stepping away from this son bitch because it doesn't make sense for my livelihood to be at risk. And I'm talking to people that I know at TSA, and they're saying like, yeah, the morale here is very low. People are leaving. Some of these people have, are trying to develop pensions. And what's stepping in is interesting. Now there are some third-party contracting companies that are coming in, effectively scabs, all right, who are coming in saying, hey, we'll do the job for you. We'll do all this screening for you. And it's good that these people have jobs, but why put these people in these crosshairs as a tool? Whoa. Yeah. Come on out to Atlanta, though. So that being said, hey.
Well, Atlanta, I was just in Atlanta. I think it was last week. It was fine. Atlanta's a huge airport, and I know there's probably slowdowns and whatnot there, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. Now we have something going on in Atlanta. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have Money Tank happening. Shauna can put the link up, but if you guys, we're only doing one Money Tank this year. And you folks definitely need to get to it. It is like one of the most dynamic events that we do. People love it. I mean, just watch the testimonials. We got stuff all over the place. You can go to privatemoneyclub.com. But again, like I said, Shauna will throw the link up there. It's not till May, so you got plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
but you guys, you got time. So again, we'll be past this TSA thing, right? The Iran thing, according to Morgan and some others, will be over. So again, but I love that somebody had said it. That it said over 365 times in the Bible, "Fear not" or "Worry not." And I said I opened that with this: don't let fear freeze you. Don't let fear stop you, because it's going to stop a lot of people, but that's how you get ahead. You push through fear. You face the fears. Fear isn't even a real thing. We make it real. It's inherently built into us because we used to have fear for a heightened sense to not get eaten by saber-toothed tigers, but there's no tiger going to eat you. I mean, you walk into the office, Cash might rub against your leg and maybe want you to pet him, but that's the worst it's going to get for the saber-toothed tigers. But just push through it. So with that being said, privatemoneyclub.com/money tank, privatemoneyclub.com/money tank. The VIP tickets, I'll just let you all know, they always sell out. We have never, ever done a Money Tank event that has not sold out VIP. So if any of you are thinking about going, grab the VIP tickets, because there's only a limited number of them, and you get a bunch of extra stuff, extra time with us, extra events with us. So make sure you grab that. And then the GA tickets are just general admission tickets. And there's plenty of them.
The price is never going to be lower than right now. For those of you who are a little bit price sensitive, the price is never going to be lower to the Money Tank right now. Atlanta, as you guys
we never discount the price of Money Tank. We never have. Like, I know Grant Cardone plays that game. He'll here's the price. Then as you get closer, it gets cheaper. So you just know if you wait till the last week, you can get tickets super cheap. So you buy your plane ticket and you just buy the tickets at the end, 80% off, but we don't play that game. Price is what the price is what the price is. You might get this afternoon on Wealth Webinar, we're going to be talking about the Blueprint event. I've got some really cool stuff I'm going to give away to people that buy the tickets for the Blueprint, but that's just a virtual event. You guys want to get out live. You got to get out there into the wild. So we all know
Atlanta. Just a quick thing. Atlanta is big in my heart. There's so much opportunity in Atlanta, Chris. I've seen some influencers say, "Oh no, Atlanta's full. Atlanta, the labor is too tough." Atlanta's got some smoking hot deals. If you want to learn and be around that community that's really wants to move forward and take advantage, it's going to be in Atlanta, the capital of the South.
All right. So a couple of quick things when it comes to USA. Top spy quits over the Iran war. You probably heard about this. The National Counterterrorism Center, a decorated Green Beret. He quit, and he said that the Iran war was never actually Iran was never a threat. I mean, this is one person. It is making national news, so it is, I guess, got some merit to look at. Why would a decorated Green Beret quit? Because Iran was never a threat. Again, it's about the oil. It's not the threat; it's the oil. And anyway, but that's boring news. Warren Buffett. I reference Warren Buffett all the time, and I think this is worthy of a discussion. I think he's the greatest investor of all time. I don't know if I don't even know if I need to think. I just know. And I think most of you should know. And he kept everything so simple: buy low, sell high, don't lose money. When others are greedy, be fearful. When others are fearful, be greedy. So he had all these little statements, but he has stepped down. And Greg Abel, I think I'm saying that right, Abel, he's in. And he's making moves on the 370, I think it's actually a little more than this, but $373 billion in cash that Warren Buffett amassed. Now, I say this a lot, right? If everything's good, if the markets are going to continue keep going up, if companies are valued properly, if there's no speculation and everything fundamentally makes sense, why would the greatest investor of all time have $373 billion sitting in cash? And when I say cash, I mean treasury bonds, treasury bills, cash equivalent type of investments. Okay. Just not equities. He's not out there buying more Pepsi, not out there buying more Apple. Matter of fact, he sold a shit ton of Apple. And on the Apple thing, just to support, I think one of the reasons Warren was selling Apple, it was more fundamental than anything else and just reducing his position. But has anyone tried using Siri lately on Apple?
Oh,
hasn't she just gone to shit? Like, the only thing Siri, I asked Siri to set a reminder for me this morning. She couldn't even do that. And then the bitch asked me if I wanted to talk to ChatGPT. It's like, man, if I wanted to talk to ChatGPT, I wouldn't have asked for Siri. Apple, get your head out of your ass. I get it.
So, Chris, let me pick this
super
up.
smart to not spend all the money on AI like all the other jokers.
So you brought up so many good points there, Chris. So number one,
went down a rabbit hole there. Sorry.
That was hilarious. I'm glad you brought that up. So the new guy, all right, Mr. Abel. The Abel era has officially begun in Berkshire Hathaway, and Greg Abel's already moving faster than his predecessor. Now they're stopping with the stock buybacks. And I got a lot of people who are like, well, why would you want to do that? Well, hey, they're stepping into the fear. They're stepping into where the water's a little bit choppy. And he's identified the indefinite for his debut shareholder letter on the 28th. He's identified Apple, American Express, Coca-Cola, and one of the energy companies. He's saying, you know what? They're kind of repressed right now. They're good deals. They're good buys. Let's go ahead and reinvest into them right now. You know what? They play on a different game, on a different level than us consumers. All right. They're not just buying into a fund. They're not, going and just investing with their Roth. They're like, look, we see something that the rest of the world doesn't. So it isn't financial advice for myself or Chris, but this is what Berkshire Hathaway is doing as an entity right now. They got that energy company. Abel comes from the energy sector as well. So maybe he knows something that we don't. But getting to Apple is at a very pivotal crossroads right now. Now, Tim Cook, I was researching this last night. Tim Cook has been able to grow that company from, I think it was $1 trillion to like $2 to $3 trillion, something just absolutely astronomical. A number
bigger than
that
most
is
countries.
Yeah, like count every single grain of sand at Coconut Beach and quadruple it, and that's how much Apple is worth right now. But think about how they got there. They didn't get there by revolutionizing too much tech. Yes, they introduced Siri, but it was because they created the iPhone, because they created iPods. It's because of the hardware that they actually developed. And they're saying, like, why should we dump billions upon billions of dollars into this particular AI bubble? When
I think it was brilliant of them not to do that.
Absolutely. So yeah, you got pissed off. I'd be pissed off too.
Because listen, I used to be able to ask Siri basic things, and she could do basic things like set notifications. Now she's just like, she don't know. She don't know about the price of rice in China. That ain't my job anymore. Call ChatGPT.
Yeah, she wants to put a burrito in a Cheeto. Like that's just not going to work, Jack.
Better James.
But at the foundation, though, here's where I think Apple has an Achilles heel. A lot of their senior staff that has built the company up to this multi-trillion-dollar valuation is stepping away. Tim Cook is stepping away within 2 to 3 years. Yeah. A lot of their senior staff, at least 3 of their senior staff that have helped develop this, have stepped away. Some have went over to Meta Facebook, for instance. So going forward in this uncertain time, is Apple going to be the right buy? We've seen massive failures with their Apple Intelligence, not Apple Intelligence, but the VR visor that came out that was massively overpriced and that couldn't do half the things that the Facebook Meta visor could do. And it's also not a merger of where we see the market. Where do we see the market? In augmented reality with the the Facebook Meta glasses. Those things sold like crazy. And Apple missed the mark. But, oh, wait a minute, Apple, you Apple loyalists, you can come at me in the comments. Don't worry. I've got my Android shield up here. I'm all set. But they didn't innovate.
Isn't Apple working with Google right now on some things?
Yes. So they have adopted, I think
we don't even need to go down that. Let's save that for next week because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a really good topic for next week.
Cut me off. Don't get me started about tech.
Yeah, I'm not going to get, because I know the Samsung Apple thing, that we're not in that topic here. But I do want to point out one thing. Anthony over here on YouTube had asked what percentage in cash, which is a really good question. So I think to ask what percentage, Berkshire Hathaway is sitting in cash today is the wrong question. I think to ask what percentage in cash is Berkshire sitting in this year compared to last year or their average year would be the proper way to ask the question. So I did some more work on that. So Berkshire Hathaway's cash reserve reached a record high of approximately $381.7 billion. That's nutty. Third quarter 2025, which represented 31. Let me, I know all you diversification buffs out there, 31% of its entire holdings in cash.
Damn.
If that is not telling you something, there is nothing else that I can tell you. There is nothing else I can show you that means more than that single solitary statement right there. And then when you look at it, the cash and short-term treasury bill holdings, I talk about treasuries all the time, not giving financial advice, but like I might know a thing or two here. So the short-term treasury and cash is $381,000 billion in 2025 compared to prior period. It was $189 billion. So I'm just trying to give you, an idea that in a 1-year time frame, it has gone from 189 billion to 381. And it's a little down from the 381, but you see the significance of that? That's all I'm trying to say is when you ask the question, ask a question, but give some relevance of what are we trying to show here? We're trying to show that they more than doubled their cash position inside of 1 year because they know something we don't know. That is all you need to understand. And then somebody down here, Mary Mac or Mary MCC said, what about crypto and liquidity pools? Crypto's been doing well. XRP, I think, is a really good story right now. I mean, if you're a crypto person, invest in crypto, but only invest in things you know, like, and understand. Liquidity pools, I think that's more of a smoke and mirrors game, if you ask me. We're talking real liquidity here with Buffett. When we're talking about liquidity pools, I'll kind of save that one for another day. I do know quite a bit about that. I think a lot of when you hear about the liquidity pools in terms of the crypto space, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. It is not what you think. It's not them just sitting in cash or a true liquidity pool from the pure meaning of what a liquidity pool would be. And the very last thing I want to hit on, which would be in the topic of just what the F is, it's happening.
Okay, what do we got, Chris? What do we got?
It's happening. I didn't think this was going to happen, but as a kid, Terminator was my all-time favorite movie. Then Terminator 2 came out, where Arnold was the good guy, and they had the dirt bike and the Harley and the semis, like the badass movie. But in 2, we saw the little, like literally, I don't want to paint the picture, but you remember the scene where she was going to kill the guy that created the chip that became the Terminator, and he's in his house and she shoots and misses him. Okay. You remember? That's NVIDIA. NVIDIA is developing chips right now that will be 100 times?
At least 100 times stronger.
100 times stronger than they are now, or I think it wasn't 1,000,000 times stronger.
It's pretty strong, but we can safely say 100 without.
So all I'm saying is right now, you got to look at this. And here's the scariest part. They just sent 2 humanoid robots to the front lines of Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Think of it this way. Now, San Francisco startup.
These humanoid robots are just kicking down doors and carrying weapons, but like that's where it started because that's where Terminator started. Then all of a sudden you had this melty metal thing that you couldn't kill. You shot it and it just reformed. I mean, where does this end?
So here's some details about that WTF. San Francisco startup Foundation Robotics has officially deployed 2 Phantom Mk1 humanoid robots to the front lines in Ukraine. Now, these robots are 5'9". They're jet black steel designed to kick down doors and carry any weapon a human can, marking the first time a humanoid robot has entered an active war zone. So they are using, a San Francisco startup is using this as a proxy and testing ground for boots on the ground. The robots are coming for the soldiers' jobs, Chris. And if you think about the level of autonomy that these things could have within 5 years, not 10 years, not 20 years, 5 years.
2 years.
Is absolute 2 years. That is very, very shocking because Elon said, like, look, this is The only way to save ourselves is with more robots. Well, says the robot salesman. But now a company, that's making a better robot than Prime, mind you. It's better than Optimus Prime. Because remember, Elon's been doing this for a while now, but for some reason he hasn't been able to turn the corner. He was right next to the president. Why aren't his robots there yet? And meanwhile, we've got this other
Trump
company.
off.
Yeah, well, I also believe that the Prime robots are terrible. By comparison on a global stage. Boston Dynamics makes a much better robot. I'm a big robot aficionado, but I don't want to see this happen. And maybe this is the right thing.
We're not going to have any robots working in this office, just so you know. This is a no robot zone.
Okay, well, we're covered on that end. And for those of you who are worried about robots taking our jobs, well, you know what? Maybe you guys want to look this up. There is a website that was started up just very recently. I'm going to get the website for you. It is called rentahuman.ai. So you're worried about a robot taking your job? Go to rentahuman.ai, and what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to do all the things that an AI agent can. An AI agent can't sit in certain meetings and take notes, so you can go there, you can bring your phone, and it can record all the notes for a meeting. You can make certain deliveries for these robots because it's just not an area that is necessarily attainable by a robot agent. So go ahead and sell your services to the robots, because if they're taking our jobs, we might as well take some
I
of theirs.
believe I read something, maybe not exactly, but in Revelations, something seems very eerily similar. But anyway, I'll have to go back and reread Revelations. It's a tough one to kind of digest and really unpack. But somebody said this might be October Love coming in from IG said this might be a dumb question, but is this having to do with the chip shortage that's happening? No, not really.
Well, do you remember when there was a rumor that
Damien's already got AI girlfriends. Good for you, Damien.
But remember when we invaded Venezuela and there was a guy there who said that they had something that I've never seen before. They had some type of weapon or tool that we had never seen before, and he was very vague in his description. I'm like, this could be anybody. What if it was one of the Phantoms? What if it was one of these stealth robots? Like, that seems very plausible to me.
Yeah, well, I got to end this show with one correction because I did misspeak, and it is a very important misspeak, and Tess called me out. My favorite movie of all time, none will ever contend or compete with this, is the movie Rad. My second favorite movie as a child was Terminator. Thanks for calling me out on that. With that being said, folks, thanks for joining us for this episode of WTF. Join us this afternoon for WTF, where we're going to unpack the infinite banking concepts and the importance and the significance of loans allowing you to take back control of your money. So 1 p.m. Eastern, go to chrisnaugle.com to register. We will see you at 1 p.m. Eastern for Wealth Webinar. With that being said, see you soon.
See you next week. Ow!